Hi, I'm Marianne from Lux Yacht World, and if you've been planning a Mediterranean yacht charter and someone told you August is the best time to go, I need you to hear what one of our clients discovered after 4 years of learning the hard way. She chartered the same region 3 years in a row. The Cyclades, always August, always Mykonos week. She loved it. She thought she'd found her formula. The fourth year, her broker, one of ours, quietly suggested she shift to June. Same yacht class, same Cyclades, same anchorages she'd fallen in love with. She almost said no. She'd done the math. She thought she knew. What she found instead was 6 fewer knots of Meltemi wind, half the crowd at every anchorage, and a version of those islands she had never actually seen before. She hasn't booked August since, not once. That's the thing about the Mediterranean charter season that almost nobody tells you up front. It doesn't run as one single season. It runs as several overlapping seasons, each one tied to a specific region, a specific wind pattern, and a specific version of who else is out there with you. Get the pairing wrong and you're fighting conditions and crowds. Get it right, and the same destination becomes a completely different experience. So let's walk through it. Because whether this is your first charter or your fifth, the timing question is the one that makes or breaks the trip. The season officially opens around late April and runs through October, but that window behaves very differently depending on where you are. Let's start with Greece because it's where most first-time charterers go, and it's where the timing mistake is most expensive. The Cyclades, as Mykonos, Santorini, Paros, Naxos, are spectacular. They're also exposed. The Meltemi, that dry northerly wind, builds through July and really asserts itself in August. On some days, that's exhilarating sailing. On other days, you're tucked into a harbor you didn't choose, waiting for a window. If you're an experienced sailor who came for the wind, August is a legitimate choice. But if you came for relaxed exploration, sundowners in a quiet bay, stopping wherever you feel like stopping, June is your month. The ports aren't overrun, the fleet hasn't fully deployed yet, and crews consistently tell us June is their favorite time of year in Greek waters. That's not a coincidence. September is the other window people underestimate. The Meltemi softens, the sea is still warm, the light changes into something almost cinematic, and the crowds thin out dramatically. If your schedule allows any flexibility, May and September, what we call shoulder season, consistently outperform expectations for guests who try them. Now let's move to the Riviera, because that stretch from Saint-Tropez through Monaco runs on its own entirely different calendar, and it's built around events, not seasons. The Cannes Film Festival runs in May. The Monaco Grand Prix is late May. These aren't background noise. They reshape the harbor availability, the anchoring options, and the atmosphere in the entire surrounding area for weeks. If you want to be in Monaco for the Grand Prix, you need to plan that a year out, minimum. If you want the Riviera without that energy, quiet bays, the coast without the convoy, June is again a strong answer, or you go to the other bookend. Les Voiles de Saint-Tropez in late September, which is one of the most beautiful sailing events in the world to witness from water, and still feels relatively intimate compared to the summer peak. Croatia deserves its own conversation because it's having a moment and not everyone's caught up yet. The Dalmatian coast, Hvar, Korčula, the Kornati Islands is genuinely world-class. June is probably the finest month on the entire Adriatic. The water is clear, the stone towns are navigable, the anchorages aren't 3 boats deep. July and August bring the crowds, and they bring them fast. If Croatia is on your list, June is not a compromise, it's the play. And then there's Montenegro, specifically the Bay of Kotor. This is the one I want to linger on for a moment because it's still barely mentioned in most charter guides, which is almost inexplicable when you actually see it. The bay is a drowned river canyon. It looks like a fjord dropped into the Adriatic. The fortified town of Kotor sits at the end of it, medieval walls climbing straight up the mountain. The anchorages are dramatic in a way that's hard to photograph accurately. It's quiet, it's not on the standard rotation, And precisely because it's not on the standard rotation, you can often find availability there when the Cyclades in Croatia are fully booked. If you're a returning charter guest looking for something that feels genuinely undiscovered, Montenegro is where I'd point you first.